Hello students, I am Assistant Professor Yashwant Bohra from LG School of Law, and today we'll be discussing about the interesting topic of Indian Evidence Act, that is admission. So till now, till our lectures, we have discussed till section 415. As you have seen, we are talking about the relevant facts, which goes from section 5 to section 55. Okay, so admission is given under Indian Evidence Act, and it goes between section 17 to section 22A. So now first we'll be seeing the definition of admission. So admission means it is a statement, oral or documentary, which suggests any inference as to any fact and issue or relevant fact, and which is made by any of the person and under the circumstances hereinafter mentioned. So you will see that whatever the statements which are made by the person. Now you can see the diagram. The statement made by the person under section 18, section 19 and section 20. Okay, and again the circumstances which is given under section 19, 18, 19 and 20. Then all this statement will be termed as a admission. Okay, now again moving to the definition, previous slide. An admission is a statement, oral or documentary. It can be oral or it can be documentary, which suggests any inference as to any fact and issue or relevant fact, and which is made by any of the persons under the circumstances hereinafter mentioned. So as we again, like I'm telling you, that the statement made by the person mentioned under section 18, 19 and 20, and the circumstances which is given under section 18, 19 and 20, all these persons under these circumstances, if they give any oral or any documentary evidences, they will be termed as admission. Now uh, moving further, you'll see, for your a better understanding, I have made this table, and because of which you will be understanding in a appropriate way. So as you can see, I have made two tables, that is, one is the category of person and one is circumstances under which statements are made. So according to section 18, there are four category of person, and again there are four circumstances in which the person has given the statement. So going to the first category, it is the party to the suit and their agent, and the circumstances if they are expressly or impliedly authorized to make the statement. Now you see, whoever the parties to the suit, they themselves or their agent, if they are expressly or impliedly authorized to make the statement, then all this statement will be termed as a evidences. Moving to the second category, you will see person making statement in representative character or capacity. Okay, and if they hold such representative character while holding such capacity, then all the statement which has been, or all the evidences, whether it is oral or documentary, given by the person, will be termed as a admission. Now moving to our third category, it talks about the person having property and pecuniary interest in the subject matter of the suit. Okay, now the pecuniary interest means the monetary interest of the person. So the person having property and pecuniary interest in the subject matter of the suit, and if they made the statement during the continuance of such interest, it means that the interest should be there, and it should not be over. So during the continuance of such interest, if the person makes any statement or gives an evidence which can be oral or documentary, then in that case those evidences will be considered as admission. Now moving further, you will see person from whom parties to the suit have derived their interest. Now what kind of parties, or what kind of person can be them? Like person from whom parties to the suit have derived their interest. Now if these type of person, if the statement was made by such person was having interest in the subject matter of the suit, then in during that interest, that person is having interest, then all the statements or all the evidences which are given under these circumstances and by these people will be termed as evidence. Now moving further, you will see section 19 and 20, the category of people which are present under section 19 and section 20. So again section 19, uh, it says that the person whose position or liability is necessary to be proved in a suit other than the parties. Now, if there is a person whose position or whose liability is necessary to be proved in a suit, it can be the one of the factor issue, or it can be the important part of the case. Then, in that case, if the statement made by such person by holding such position or liability uh, before the dispute has arose, then all these statements and all these evidences which has been given by the person before the dispute has arose, then all in that case that particular evidences will be termed as admissions. Now moving further, you will see the person to whom the parties to the suit has referred some question or information. Now I'm repeating again, the person to whom the parties to the suit has referred some questions or information, then in that case, if the statement is made in answer to such questions which has been referred to a person by the parties to a suit, then all those statements and evidences will be termed as admissions. I hope you must have got this, this particular section, section 18, 19, and 20. Again, I'll suggest you. Again, I'll tell you that there are in total there are how many categories? There are six categories. Okay, four categories of person and circumstances are mentioned under section 18, and two categories are mentioned under section 19 and section 20. Now we'll move further and we'll see section 21. Now section 21 says that admissions are relevant. Admissions are relevant. Admissions are relevant and may be proved as against the person who makes them or his representative in interest, but they cannot be proved by or on behalf of the person who makes them or by his representative in interest, except in the following cases. Sorry, now you will see that uh, admissions can be proved against the person. Okay, admissions are relevant and may be proved against the person who makes them, but it cannot be proved by the person on his own behalf or by his representative. And there are certain exceptions in this particular in this particular section. Now we'll see the exceptions. Now the exception one, it talks about the admission may be proved on or behalf of the person making it when it is such a nature that if the person making it were dead, it would be relevant and between the third persons under section 32. Now you will see that under section 32, section 32 talks about the person who cannot be found or the persons who are dead. You must have heard about the dying declaration. Okay, it is mentioned under section 32 subclause 1. So admissions can be proved on behalf of the person who is making it, if in case that person is not, it's like he is dead, and again it is not possible, like if he is dead, it's not possible for the person to come and to say in the court. Then in that case the person the admissions under, if the statements are made under section 32, then all those statements are relevant as an admission in the section 21. Now moving further, the second point talks about an admission may be proved on or behalf of the person making it when it consists a statement of the existence of any state of mind or body relevant or in issue made at about when such state of mind or body existed, and is accompanied by the conduct rendering its falsehood and is improbable. Now you see that the admission may be proved on or be on behalf of the person making it when it consists of a statement of existence of any state of mind or any body or or if they think these things are relevant in an issue and it made at the time when such a state of mind or bodily feelings, or you can say the bodily feelings, yeah, existed. Now in this case you'll see when there is state of mind of the person is relevant when. Now you'll see that we have discussed state of mind under section 14 in our previous lectures. And again, if you are having a Bear Act with you, you will see the illustration D and E of section 21, which talks about that A is accused of receiving stolen goods knowing them to be stolen. Now, in that case, A may prove yeah, in that case he offers to prove that he refused to sell them below their value. Now again you'll see that A may prove these statements though they are admissions because they are explanatory of conduct and influence in the fact and issue. So you see that in this particular illustration, you see that A is accused of receiving some stolen good, and again he denied to sell those stolen good below their value. So in that case, A may prove these statements, okay, though they are admissions and because they are explanatory or conduct in the nature. Okay, now moving further, in a third point you will see that an admission may be proved by on behalf of the person making it if it is relevant otherwise than an admission. Now, this particular section says that the uh, facts which are relevant under section 6 to 13, they will not be rendered or they will not be held inadmissible because they can be proved on the person on behalf of the person who is making them. Therefore, all these relevant facts which are mentioned under section between section 6 to 13, uh, they will not be inadmissible as in case if the person is himself is making that particular statement or proving that particular statement. Now moving further, you see section 22. Section 22 talks about the oral evidences, or you can say that when oral admissions as to the content of the documents are relevant. So it says that oral admissions as to the content of a document are not relevant until and unless the party who is proposing to prove them shows that he is entitled to give secondary evidence of such content of such document under the rules hereinafter contained, or unless the genuineness of a document produced in the question. Now oral admissions, uh, now you see that if the admissions are in the form of document and the content of documents cannot be proved by the oral evidences until the following these conditions until the conditions, that is the party who wants to prove this document shows that he is entitled to give the secondary evidences, and second where in case the genuineness of the document is in the question, then in that case the party will have to come forward, and in that case the oral admissions of the party will be considered. Okay, now moving further under section 23, you will see that if civil cases no admission is relevant, and if it is made either. Now it says that when the admissions are not relevant in the civil cases, so there are two conditions which is given under section 23. It says that upon an express condition that the evidence of it is not to be given, and second under circumstances from which the court can infer that the parties agreed together that evidence of it should not be given. Now, the object of this section is to promote court settlement. Object of this section is to promote the outside court settlement. As we all know that there are so many cases in the judiciary, and if there will be again coming so many cases, then in that case even parties will be suffered and even the justice will be suffered. So to promote the outside court settlement, the court has said that when admissions it promotes actually the outside court settlement, and it says that section 23, that admissions in civil cases when it is not relevant. Okay, so I hope that you must have got the provisions or the sections of the admissions. If in case there is any query, you just can go to the comment box and you just can write your queries, and your queries will be resolved as soon as possible. So till then, I'll rest my lecture here. So till then, take care of yourself, and thank you so much for listening.